Hey guys, I'm Naoto. Today's story is about the religions we have. In Japan, we have two types of religions which are historically mixed up, and that confuses us every time to distinguish which is which. But with some knowledge, you can enjoy Japanese culture and history more and more. So today, I'm gonna tell you the three basic things about our two main religions, Buddhism and Shintoism. The first topic is place for worship. It's quite simple. Shrine belongs to Shintoism and the temple to Buddhism. The easiest way to distinguish is to find torii. Torii gate is an iconic symbol of shrine which indicates the boundary between the world you're living in and the world the god living in. At temples, there is no torii, but instead, at some places, you can find Buddha statues. And because of our funeral custom, some temples have grave beside its main buildings. Well, to sum up this section, I'd like to show you the map used in Japan. There are icons showing what kind of the place it is. Shrine is indicated by torii, and the temple, in contrast, indicated by swastika. Like I said, the religions in Japan have been mixed thoroughly from long time ago. There is a historical reason behind it. Originally, we Japanese had Shintoism, and the Shintoism stemmed from animism. Animism is a way of thinking that regards all the objects to have its own soul and supernatural power. With the knowledge of animism, it's gonna be more or less easier to understand Shintoism. In Shintoism, there are numerous number of gods, and the god is not only human but also natural object. Even one grain of rice has its own soul. The way I say it, there is a geographical reason behind animism. Japan always suffers from natural disasters such as earthquake, typhoon. So I think this geographical condition encouraged animism and Shintoism. On the other hand, the origin of Buddhism is relatively simple. Buddhism was established by Gautama Siddhartha, known as Buddha in India, and now it became the world's fourth biggest religion. Back in 6th century, Buddhism was imported from China, not from India, to Japan. Since then, Shintoism and Buddhism coexist in Japan. Due to the difference in the origin and the background, the object for worship is different as well. In Buddhism, we worship Buddha, called Hotoke in Japanese language. There's a doctrine called samsara, according to which all the people repeat being born and dying in 6 different worlds and suffer from this reiteration forever. So we need help from Buddha to stop this reiteration of samsara. That's the reason why for worship in Buddhism. In contrast, in Shintoism, we worship God and nature, which is called kami or kami-sama. Basically, with respect, we put sama additionally. Unlike Buddhism, Shintoism has no clear doctrine, so its way of thinking is rather abstract, and the reasons for worship come from other kinds of motivation. In Buddhism, people worship for asking help from Buddha, but in Shintoism, people wish for their own wishes, such as academic achievement or healthy life, or people worship in order to appease ghost anger. And as I told you, there is no doctrine in Shintoism, but instead we have myth. Well, I'd like to skip the detail this time, but for example, there's a story about the establishment of our nation, and it is said our emperor family is the descendant of the greatest god. That's why Shintoism has a connection with emperor family, and that's why the emperor was regarded as the present god in World War period. But it's just a temporary way of thinking at that time. Don't worry. Today in Japan, the emperor is regarded not as a god, but as the symbol of our nation. So, how was today's episode? Could you grasp the essence of our religion? Or did it become more complicated to understand? The things I introduced today are just some parts of our religions, so I'd like to deal with other aspects in other episodes. Thank you for watching to the end. ありがとうございました。